Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 12 of my Inca El Dorado series. At the end of part 11, I left you guys with a question as to where to send the trade route, and there was a couple comments that seemed to be confused about the state of the game right now. So just wanted to point out, if you look at this cargo ship here, you can see it's already sending food from Machu to Olan. So that was already happening. The question is about the second cargo van, whether to send it from Olan to Machu and grow it, knowing full well that the growth is going to lead to citizens working, undeveloped tiles, so not the best ideal situation, or move that cargo ship to Machu to send it to Buenos Aires to increase our passive religious pressure, since they do have a quest, which means, they're a cultured city state. Either we get to Allied, or if it's a little slower, we could stay friends with them for a little bit longer. Just as a spoiler alert, I'm going to send the boat to Machu to feed it. And there's a few reasons for this, which I'll get into. I just wanted to do this right now so that there's not a extended cliffhanger here. First of all, we do have a worker right here. This is kind of like a second worker in Cusco, because we have the three workers up here. This guy's finished now, right? So he can just come down and start developing. I mean, Cusco's already not working the tiles we've already developed, but we got food, chopped down here. We might get this gold. We might get this, freshwater plains. So we should get somebody down here to continue to develop tiles, and it could be this guy because Trader Joe's about to finish, and then, in one turn we grow here. He can do that. So Trader Joe's going to be back in the mix. This guy can stay on Olan, which Olan doesn't have much more to develop. We'll probably start getting into hills. So this guy can come down and be our Cusco dude. And then this guy can come down here, finish up this hill finally, and then the two of these guys together can like work on the sheep, the river, some. Plus, we do have a specialist slot here. Secularism's coming real soon, so that'll be an okay place for a citizen. 2 hammers and 2 science versus just 2 hammers, or 1 food, 1 hammer. So this is probably going to be better. So we can afford the expansion in Machu. Also, there's the happiness issue to look at. We did finish Notre Dame. We do have Melbourne, Forever and a Day, and that's 3 luxuries in that particular city-state. And we're about to complete the Forbidden Palace, which is also happiness. Now, at this level of happiness, we should be either growing or conquering. And I don't much feel like conquering. There's nothing worthwhile to do. With the military we could produce, the time it would take, it would not be worth the gain. So growth is the only other alternative, and this is something that we're addressing here. And yeah, we're growing everywhere anyways. But the main reason that I wanted to do that is because I was looking at the numbers, okay? I actually went back into the history of this game and found that on turn 104 was the turn that Olan passively converted, because it had these cities, trade route from here, and then these 2 cities within range pressuring it. So turn 104, and our religion was already enhanced at that point. So that means right starting at turn 104, Olan was pressuring Buenos Aires faster than Buddhism and Confucianism. And I should point out that on turn 104, Buenos Aires was either pop 9 or pop 10, I can't really tell, but it did say exactly this: 2 Buddhism, 1 Confucianism. So over the course of the last 27 turns, they haven't managed to convert any citizens whatsoever, while we've managed to convert 2. Now, I don't know exactly at what point Lodge converted, but obviously it would have been around 110, give or take, as many as like half a dozen turns. So I really can't tell for sure, but it would have been at that point that this number became 15 instead of 7. And you look at those numbers, if you look at those numbers, it's not a direct pressure. Like, near as I can tell, it counts to 100, and then somebody gets converted. But if it was counting to 100 by way of 7 or 15 over the course of 27 turns, we would have accomplished more than just 2 citizens. So what this tells me is that it's not a raw number. The other numbers, being competing pressures, are somehow factored into it, whether it's the 15 we're doing now minus the 12 other people are doing, to where it's only 3 per turn. Or, maybe it's looking at, okay, what's the greatest secondary pressure? It is 6, so we'll subtract 6 from 15. I don't know exactly. I suppose I could have looked it up. But the point I'm getting at is, say we did send a boat to Buenos Aires from Machu right now, this number that we would be doing would be 22. Come printing press, it would become 27. All right. So you count off, like, even if it's just 6 difference, that's 5, turns, per citizen. This is going to grow to 12 easily, so that's, 20 turns. And that's minimum. That's assuming it's only subtracting the 6. If it's subtracting both the 6s, then it's going to take even longer. If Lodge gets converted to his religion, which is something he would do, obviously the pressure is going to go down. So to send the trade route there, it's too little gold. We would just be doing it for the religious pressure. And the religious pressure is so minute and so unreliable, keeping in mind that Lodge could get converted to his religion, that the end result, it would literally be easier for us to just throw money at the city-state than it is to waste that trade route. So that is all the reasons. I hope I remembered all of them, because I know there was a number of them. But that's all the reasons why I decided that sending it to Machu is probably the better thing. Now, obviously, it's going to take time because this worker, we're going to grow in 2 now. We don't have any developed tile down here. And that's partially my fault because I forgot about the stable in this city. So when I bought this tile to work River Hill, I should have bought this tile instead. And if I had, then the logistics of coming from here to here to here would have been better than coming from here to here and then back over to here. And I'm pretty sure we already had this mountain tile because of Machu Picchu. So I should have bought this tile ahead of this tile because this would have been one additional hammer. I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point, but that's the thing. Alright, it says T1 demands furs. He had furs available earlier. If we were to pay for a luxury straight up, it would be something like 9 gold per turn if everything was good diplomatically. So obviously that'd be trading at a loss. So we do have this gold coming online, so if he does end up reacquiring his furs, I don't know if Barbarian's pillaged it or if he's traded it off to somebody else, but... Okay, so we're looking at 6 and 6 here. Let's try working a food tile. It does speed it up by 1 without penalizing the Forbidden Palace, so let's just do that. Targets nearby encampment. Alright, we were expecting that, so... yeah, we have military that will be heading this way. In fact, it says 1 turns until steel is finished. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving this swordsman towards. Same with this crossbowman. Unfortunately, the trebuchet is a terrible scouty type because of the limited visibility. However, we also have this knight who's going to be coming down to help. I think he's got 1 more movement point. So let's just have that guy get out of the way for a turn. We'll get down here and help him keep eyes on that. We have another scout coming down. I should have just kept eyeballs down here and let the other scout be the one to go over and pick up those ruins. But, we're already kind of down that road, so we might as well pursue that. Alright, that's probably going to be a friendship that lasts the whole game, so I'm not worried about it going anywhere anytime soon. We get that bank up in that city. Let's see, we are heading northeast with this guy. A little bit of an ineffective cloud, but the cloud comes up wider over here, so there was no point in curving around, I don't think. So the reason I was looking at, we can see this is kind of like a dog bone island. We don't know the extent, but these little islands tend not to be very large anyways. So I'm thinking, as much as I'd like to see if there's a second camp to the east of Kuala Lumpur, I'm thinking we could get better visibility coming around this way, and then by the time our military arrives, maybe the boat can be lined up with protecting them, making sure they get safe passage. So I'm going to go ahead and head this way. I don't mind ending in the water because there's no archers here, and if they have a boat... Well, this camp can't put out a boat, so I guess the fact that we saw a boat in this little bay here would suggest that there is a second camp, probably to the east of Kuala Lumpur. But, I mean, we'll go take care of that. So this guy I'm just going to have straight come over to Cusco. He's going to be, the Capitan, because he's going to be working in the Capital for pretty much the rest of the game. all our roads up and stuff. Like all of our worker roles are pretty much locked in at this point. Obviously, once these tiles do get all caught up, the extra worker can come into Cusco or wherever. We are lagging on hill development, but you know we can catch up with that in relative quickness, I'm guessing. So those are the plans. Got 308 gold. But next turn we're going to be upgrading 2 swordsmen. So that's going to use most of our gold. And there it is, steel. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll move this guy as far as we can without using up all of his mobility. There we go. This crossbow can in fact jump in the water this turn. Thank you, machinery. This is a graphical glitch. Obviously, the iron we would need for the long swordsman is the exact same iron that we needed for the swordsman that became the long swordsman, so this is impossible. I ran into that once before. I was playing, I think it was a Mongolia game, and I just started upgrading my Keshiks left and right, or upgrading 2 Keshiks left and right, and I was like, "You need horses, you need horses," and it like scared the crap out of me. And then turned out it was just it's at some point the game is searching if you have the iron and you don't because it was tied up into the swordsman, but then it like resolves itself. Hope I'm explaining that well enough. Okay, let us finally get to printing press because it will make our religious pressure better anyways. And that's another reason to like pass on this. Not only am I not impressed with the numbers already, but just going into printing presses will be more pressure. So and that's not a reason to not stack it. I just think it's going to be way too slow for the payoff. We don't need the gold, so bank in this city as well. It's nice seeing that those are going to go up relatively quickly. All right, so this said 12 before, but since we've been growing really well and occupying these hammer tiles, I mean, in 3 turns we'll grow again. So yeah, that's down to 8 already. So it looks like the production in Tijuana is starting to recover. We could just go to the sheep this turn, but I want to put a chop in on that since we can't move here and develop. And thanks to this bridge and Inca, we can move and develop from here. So that 1 turn on the chop is free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're basically parallel to the apex here, so we'll just take a slight jog and then head northwest from there. Alright, there. That guy, you are Capitan, so get your butt over there. Alrighty, so there we go. This will cover things until we can get our other scout down here. Whoops, I jumped the shark. I did not mean to, though. Let's see, from here he can see all this. There we go, that's fine. That gets him closer to getting back into what a useless... Alright, so we get to see Rowclaw, apparently. And, yeah, see, we got a lot of religious pressure going on there, too. That one we could actually win. It's, you know, I didn't even think about that, like, because I figured there was a city tile hidden here based on the borders. And I wasn't even thinking that this is a source of pressure, or, I mean, another point of conversion that can eventually pressure. So, either he's going to actively reclaim a city and convert his own cities, in which case our trade route would have been not enough, or he's not, and this will just fall naturally anyway. So for the time being, feeding Machu seems to be a better choice. There will come a point where Machu's working every tile and every specialist slot, etc. So at that point, yeah, using the trade route to focus more on like satisfying city-states or, you know, religious pressure or whatever. You know, I didn't even stop to consider that, how the religious pressure, like sending a trade route down here would convert that quicker. Because once one of these cities falls to Taoism, they're just going to all start falling until we reach the edges of like Christianity and Catholicism. Looks like Christianity is already actively spreading to the east. Didn't notice that before. No, we don't want that. No, I don't want that. Whoops. Alright. Sorry about the audio if it got choppy. I was had to bring my recording software to the forefront just for a second. Alright, so what's this? Machu has grown. And we do not have... Okay, hang on a second. We got a lot of things money-wise going on here, so I want to get all that addressed right now. Let's see here. 2 copies of gold came back this turn. We don't actually need either one of them. So that's why it looks like our happiness dipped, because we basically lost 2 luxuries, citrus and, you know, silver or whatever it was, and just got the gold back. We could sell off both copies of gold because with Forbidden Palaces on the horizon, both of our coastal cities are almost out of things to build, which means they can go back to happiness buildings. I think this one's built them all, but there's still 2 available here. You know, Pagoda's, you know, next turn it looks like. So our happiness is doing just fine. Forbidden Palace, of course. So I think our happiness is just fine. So let's lump sum as much as we can. 207 and 1 is what we've been seeing. So we'll do that there. And she's got 174. I think 175 and 2 is the exchange rate. So 174 and 2 will be almost maximum. Alright, so there we go. And now this number is over 780, which means we can just buy the bank outright here, which is nice. We're at a point where the technologies are going to be flying, and there's things that I want to be building in the capital. So I anticipate we're going to buy the bank, which we just did. Probably buy a opera house whenever that's convenient. Probably buy a windmill, and then, you know, buy a public school. We might not have to buy the public school because there's nothing in here. Well, the Taj Mahal's worth building, but it also triggers a golden age. So, but it is more happiness. So that might be something we build. Maybe we can use the great person from this as an engineer to build that. I don't know. We're getting way ahead of myself there, but my point being is money right now should be going to buildings in the capital. We managed to drop down to 1 gold in our coffers. Anyway, so what triggered all that conversation is it's time to buy a tile, but we don't have any money to do so. The bank was more important. Our gold per turn goes up as a result. So let's just put 1 more turn on the chop. We can buy this tile next turn. Is this the turn Machu grew? Did I not address that? Machu 134. Okay, so let us address that now. It is... Let's see, losing crest. Okay, so it was last turn we put secularism up. So right now, the best tile for this extra citizen to work is the workshop slot. That will change next turn when we buy the sheep, since that tile has 1 food on it, but for now we can just do that. Okay, let us jump in the water. We'll go over there and start helping Kuala Lumpur out. That'll get us an allied cultural state. There our gold per turn went up. Okay, revisit this. This will be in our borders in 1 turn, so we'll just have this guy step up, put a turn in on a mine, jump down there, chop it up. Hopefully either this tile, well, that's going to be in our borders. Hopefully after that, this tile's in our borders, or maybe this one, so that this worker has slightly more meaningful stuff to do than just putting up random plains farms, but that's something we're going to just be looking at. Alright, so... use the roads to get through here a little bit quicker. Seems nice. Hit that apex. Start heading northwest. Alright, and he carved off the top there, so... oh, look at that. Whoops. The sky... why are you not... okay, there we go. He's in the way. That's, the timing on that's pretty funny. This guy is just heading due west, although that's going to change. Let's see, 1, 2 turns, and then land. And we can start beating up on all them archers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Portugal is now in the scouting game. It's a good thing we met them first, and we already have military on the way, so that we can not only clear this camp, but give them their worker back. We'll be allied with them. No problem. And who knows? We already saw 1 boat. Maybe there's a way we can kill a boat next to their borders, get even more rep. That would be super sweet. A lot of notifications there. Alright, borders of Olan grow. That means almost nothing to us. And there's that border, so we will go ahead and move into that. May purchase with faith. Let me just refresh my memory where all we've been. Okay, I think it's time for the capital. Down here, we've already discussed in Machu, we've pretty much had to buy, or will have to have bought, every useful tile, so the culture ramp up in there is not that big of a deal. Whereas this, you know, we're still picking up. They've still got 1, 2 good tiles. Who knows if Cusco or Machu will be the one that picks up that gold, but we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that. It says 4 turns we'll either get this forest or this freshwater plains. Hopefully it's the plains. I mean, we could continue to be buying tiles, right? Like down in T1, we could start buying these jungle tiles, have Trader Joe work them one by one. That's actually not a bad idea. Okay, Poznan has converted. Unfortunately, it's too far away for Buenos Aires, but it will, you know, lead to pressuring 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, so Poznan will actually be pressuring both Wrocław and Krakow. And, of course, Gdansk, is not going to be ours. So we got to hope that one of these convert to add. All right, so this is going to be the flashpoint. Ah, there's why. Okay. All right, so let's just take a look at all these. Bullied. Pulling out allies. Seeks investors. We just gave you money. How can you be seeking investor? Great Rider. Okay, we are working on those. Searches for science. We'll get that. Seeks a great musician. That is on the horizon. Cited an American no longer. Allies. Oh, you know what? Okay. I forgot about that city-state wanting us to get gold. But that's okay because we are actively working on it here. We'll have that in 2 turns. We just got to make sure we hold on for a turn. In fact, we look here. Sweden has furs now. So we will use that gold to trade for the furs since we have somebody asking for that. Okay, whoops. He's in the way, and that means he's in the way. So do we want to go south or north? Let's try and get a grasp on that. Can we get more information by scouting with this guy? 2, 3. We don't want to hit this now. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. That's all of our movement, and it's on their border, so bam. It's going to be some turns before we can get over here, but city-states decay slowly because we're patronage. So I don't actually know. Let's just keep them together. That's something I used to not do in the past that I've come to learn is usually better, keeping your units clumped. It's better to have them supporting one another than it is to have more visibility or, you know, however you want to look at it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we can just head west and then southwest. In fact, since we know that there's a camp over here that is spitting off boats, maybe we'll have the scouting boat come down here and clear as best we can. We'll have the 2 boats cleaning up the waters while these guys kill the coastal camp, because we know it's not the camp on the west side that's doing it. It's not on the coast. Alright, let's hop the river and get that farm going. You're just going to have to sit tight for a minute. Okay, we can finally buy this tile. Oh, which means we want to work that tile. Alright, so that's a very brief moment in the workshop, but now you're playing with the sheep. That's just the way it goes. Alrighty, that seems to be everything. So we will highlight this guy just to clear this cloud before this guy moves, make sure everything's safe for him.
It is a newspaper's
Printing
duty to
press,
print the
Leaning
news
Tower
and
of
raise
Pisa,
it.
World Congress, and of course religious texts being buffed. In fact, we can go over here and take a peek at that. It now says 18 because of religious texts. So, oh, look at that. It's no longer 2, 1, and 2. 1 actually converted to Confucianism. So I don't know exactly how the math works. I just know that sending the boat over there probably would have been too little too late. I'd rather have the excess food in Machu. Alright, so that is that. Either we just grew, or we'll go ahead and unclick that to make these our Olan's tiles. Whoops, I did not check where the border grew. Where did it say? City of Machu. So, yeah, I think it was looking at the mountain tiles. And maybe it grabbed the Machu Picchu tile, I don't know. It's funny that it requires the mountain to be in your cultural borders, but it didn't build Machu Picchu on the mountain that's in our cultural borders. It built it up here for some reason. Maybe the radius check goes clockwise or something like that. Olan we addressed. T1 we did not. Okay, so there's the last of the 2 food, 2 hammer. We're about to develop this tile, so there's that. And then, of course, the wine. And maybe we can start floating these production tiles so that the city will be on par with the others. We're already up to 27 hammers, so that's not bad. Oh, wow, we're up to 48 there. Okay, never mind. Still lagging, but, you know, good enough. Good enough to keep up with the times, so to speak. Wellington seeks investors. Well, our money's going to be tied up for a little while. Let's get into acoustics. Let's ramp up that culture. We could go into economics, but we only have 2 cities not founded on hills. Whereas acoustics, all of our cities can get started on that right away, which we would actually want to do because that is a requisite for Hermitage. Alright, so there's more gold. We could sell it off right now. We could trade it for furs to buff T1's growth. T1 seems to be doing okay. I'm not in a rush for that. And we do need gold for Sidon. So let's just let it sit in our coffers for this turn. And then next turn we can trade it for the furs. Actually, you know what? We love the King Day. That's a 20% buff, isn't it? I think it's a 20% buff. We love the King Day modifier. 25%. Okay. I was going to say, if it's saying 6 turns, and it was 20% like I thought, trading it now rather than next turn. Because in theory, we are going to get this other gold, but let's just hold on to a turn for a turn. Because if it's 25%, I'm guessing when this says 5 and we instigate it, it'll be actually more like 4. It's not really all that important that we shave a turn off the growth here. I'm just trying to figure out the mechanics of the game. Alrighty, so you guys will continue your... It sucks that we have people seeing that we're coming over here. It would have been nicer to kind of do that covertly. 2, 3... I'd like to get eyes on that bay again. 4... Alright, so let's take a quick step back. And this guy's just about ready to land. That's cool. You're heading east, and we already moved that guy this turn. Alright, so chop chop. Forbidden Palace is about to be finished just in time for acoustics. Let's see here. Cusco. 1 and 2. Alright, time to pass, and now we get our Sidon friendship. So who knows, maybe we'll get more units from that. We should keep an eye on military scores and stuff. Okay, World Congress founded. Alrighty, Forbidden Palace. We just grew in this turn, so 6 turns until growth. Still 6. And we don't have another place to put it, so we'll just let this float for all the extra hammers. Gold connected for Sidon, which means now we can afford to trade it off for the furs. I don't want to be trading like this. I'd rather get the gold, but like I said, if we sell this off, it's going to be, you know, 7 gold per turn. And if we tried to buy this, it'd be 9 gold per turn. So this seems to work out better. Let's get back to that in a moment. Bank is done here. So because we traded for a luxury, our happiness is, you know, steadfast at 9. We're about to finish the Forbidden Palace, mostly uncontested, so that's almost a certainty. So we could... Well, it's only 2 turns until acoustics. I mean, we could build a galleass just to kind of have an archer, a little bit of home defense. Our boats are over, you know, across the world. Galleass cannot cross ocean, but obviously when we get our next step, is it frigates? Is that the upgrade for Caravel? Or gold? Yeah, it is. Okay, privateer. Oh, that's a new boat. Naval unit specializing in attacking coastal cities to earn gold. Okay, so this is basically the naval version of like a land snatch or something. I don't know how soon we'll be getting to navigation anyway, so there's not really a reason to build the galleass, and all the other units take 3 turns, it looks like, with the exception of the pikemen. But we already have like 2 pikemen, and those are going to become mounted units, so I don't really... Let's just go with the circus. Let's see, you guys are leading your assault on the Kuala Lumpur island. You are heading down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of weird. We kind of want to get down here quickly, but if we can just take like a couple extra movement points, it looks like we'll clear up all of this. We'll have to wait till we get closer. Okay, we finally get to land this guy. All right. So we know this is an archer here, so and we can see all the other land hexes. So it's literally archer, archer, archer. For a pikeman, that should not be a problem. All right, we can fully destroy that guy this turn, it looks like. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and I don't know if we'd get a flanking debuff here, so let's just go 4, 5. There we go. Alright, the Olan worker. Let's just go ahead and put up this last grasslands farm, then we can get to work on some hills. Alrighty, you can finally start patching up Machu. This has been an eyesore for a while. And that is everybody. Okay, so that leaves us with making a proposal. And this is a really good place to end the video. We are at the half-hour mark. So let us take a look at what our options are. Embargo city-states, no. Embargo, that's like luxury. Oh, civilization, no. There's no need for that. Ban luxury, no. Standing army, no. Scholars and residents. That's not very useful. World's Fair is always an option. We could easily win it. We've got the hammers. Culture increases by 100% for 20. And by the time it was finished, because it's going to be 30 turns before it even gets voted on, and then, you know, it would take the time to finish it. So we're talking about the future. Our culture is going to continue to go up and up and up. We have another guild to build. We've got great works coming out. Pagodas to buy. Cultural heritage site. Each world wonder provides 3. So let's take a look at this real quick. He has 2. He has 2. She has 3. He has 3. She has 2. He has 2. He has 1. And we have 1, 2, 3, soon to be 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would benefit from that far more than everybody else. We would have 7, that's 21. It's not the same as 100 for 20 turns, but it would last for the rest of the game. So let us consider that one. World's Fair. Oh, you know what? Look at that. If we chose the World's Fair, people would like us. And that's good, especially Poland, because he's the wild card. Not so much at this point, but you just never know. Natural Wonder provides 5. We'd get 10 from that. So it looks like we can world religion. This would be something that would be better set up for the second Congress, because then we'll have our extra delegates. Well, I mean, we could have our extra delegates at the first one, but city-states do not get votes. So if we wait till the second one, that gives us like closer to 60 turns to get all our money, you know, in order and buying city-states and all that. And then, of course, we don't actually have a need for either one of these. So it looks like World's Fair to me, with cultural heritage sites being a close second. But let me know what you guys think. That's the whole point of me ending this right here. Thank you for joining me. I know we had spent a lot of time talking about the boat, but I hope that it was worthwhile. Let me know if you feel I made any errors in my calculations, or if you have any light to shed on the religious pressure as far as like one compared to the other, rate of conversion, that kind of thing. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.